All right, I want to welcome everybody here back to the Lawrence LaRock Gymnasium, home of the Lancers. NortonMediaCenter.org bringing you the meet between Norton and Northridge. I'm here with Coach Ron Dunn. Jeff Carr is on the camera. Coach, this looks like Northridge didn't bring a lot of wrestlers. It doesn't have a big program like Norton.
No, unfortunately, their program's kind of gone down a little bit. They've always been pretty light, but they do come in. They try to give all their effort, and kudos to the Northridge coach for coming out.
Now, who do we have here in the first round?
Okay, we have Nate on tap, and he's got the Northridge kid right now in an underhook headlock, and get him on his back right now, and it looks like he's scoring some points. He got the 2 for takedown, and so far looks like he's got the 3 for the on his back. So he's kind of just holding in, trying to ride it out, and hopefully Nate will come out with the pin for Norton.
Nate, one of the top wrestlers for the team.
Actually, Nate's first year, right? He just got the pin. So he hung with the headlock. And actually, Nate's he's been with it for 2 years, and first year in varsity, they had to fill in some spots this year, and Nate's filled in quite nicely. So he's getting a little more of a learning experience more than anything else, and he takes his lumps, but that's how you get better.
Now, Norton, we were here last week. It was a tough one for Norton, but they still shared the Tri-Valley League Championship.
They did, hoping to get it out right, but because Ashland beat Norton, and they lost to Dedham, but then we beat Dedham, so it looks like it's going to end up as a 3-way tie between Dedham, Ashland, and Norton this year.
Terrific. And who's the second match that we have here for Norton?
Okay, we got Isaiah Tinchella. He's a senior, been wrestling really well, a lot of power, and he's very aggressive, and he just got a spin around for a takedown on the Northridge wrestler, and he's working a tilt right now, and he's got him on his back, and it looks like he may have he got 2 points out of that for near fall, and he's up 4-0 right now.
What year and what weight class is Isaiah?
Isaiah's a senior. He's a senior this year, and he's been wrestling. I remember having Isaiah as a younger wrestler, so he's been going, I think, for the last 7 years. He was a couple of years I had him under my belt, and you can see that experience is paying off. And he's one of the top kids for the team, and he had a pretty good pin. So it looks like we're up 12-0.
Ron, you also just came from where you had an inter-squad middle school meet. Hopefully everybody watches that one too. A lot of up-and-coming youngsters. Looks like a lot of kids putting in a lot of hard work.
Well, they really are, and I'm really, really proud of them. I'm fortunate enough to coach these kids, and I think they put a good show on tonight. A lot of skills a lot of things were run well, and Coach complimented the kids on their skill sets and how they were doing. It was pretty evenly matched. We tried to set it up that way for obvious reasons, so we get good competition, and they feel good about it. And we gave them a little opportunity to see what it was to feel like for a real match. Well,
they definitely enjoyed it. Now the third match, who do we have here for Norton?
Well, for Norton, we got a rookie. He came out. He's from what I understand, he won. He's coming out just to get some work in. He had a broken hand. The wrestler from Norton. He won, from what I understand, he won the award for the best lineman in the Tri-Valley for football, and he's just coming out this year trying it out, and he's only been in the wrestling room for about 3 weeks, and coach is trying to get him some skills against a team that's a little bit on the downside, and hopefully he can give him a good run.
Build up skills, self-confidence, and such to take it to the next level.
Yeah, and he's a very athletic kid, and coaches. He's got that athleticism in football. Really, really tough kid, but he has a few skill sets, the basics, and we're trying to see, and coach is trying to see, how it pans out going forward. He actually lost quite a bit of weight, believe it or not. He came into the wrestling season weighing around 230, 35 pounds. And through wrestling and whatnot, he's down to 195 or 197 now. So, it's a lot of work and it's a grind. But I know that so far, I've talked to him and he feels really good about it. And coach is really pleased to have him on the squad.
Looks like we have a timeout, maybe a bloody nose or something, and trainer Michelle Norman is right there on it right away.
Yeah, they gotta, like I mentioned, anytime there's a situation where there's any blood or bleeding, they want to stop the match immediately, and usually the coach will clean up the mat a bit and then wipe it down and just make sure he's not bleeding all over the place. And they usually use injury time for that, and they have so much time in order to do that. So, coach is just wiping it up right now, and we'll resume momentarily.
Now, what does Norton have after this meet? I think we discussed a little bit, but what's coming up for them?
Well, we're going to be going off to over this weekend. They're going to have the state dual tournament. There were, I believe, 8 teams invited to that tournament, the top Division III teams. And, of course, we're going to run into Ashland again, so I know Coach Coleman's excited to get that opportunity to wrestle them again. And we'll have Dedham there again, I'm sure. And it's usually involving the top eight teams in Division III. And the winner of the round robin becomes Coach's state champion. And it looks like the Norton Russ is coming on behind. He's close, not quite. It looked like he had it too, but he just didn't quite have control. So what he has to do in order to get control, he needs to bring him down to the mat and at least hold him down for a second or so with complete control. But he was there. I mean, again, he's learning the process, learning some skill sets, and coaches really, I'd say more than anything, grooming him for next year. He's only a junior, but he's a very athletic kid, and I know the coach is looking forward to him coming back next year, and as does himself. He seems to be pretty excited about wrestling, so it's a good thing.
Speaking of next year, how was the cupboard, as they say? Are they losing, Norton losing some? How does it look for next year?
I tell you, they have a lot of sophomores and juniors this year, so mostly in the lower weights. Where they're going to lose is really in the upper weight classes. Heavyweight, Arthur O'Neill will be gone. We're going to have Kyle McGurr will be gone at 220. Isaiah will be gone at 184. And we'll have Mike Cavello, he'll be gone. So it's the last 4 weight classes they're going to be looking to fill. And, I think we got some nice young wrestlers who've got some experience already and JVs, and they're going to be coming up the pike. So I'm expecting Coach is pretty sharp when he starts grooming these kids for next year. And this match here is an example of one of those kids.
Also, with that, a double-edged sword, right? It gives a lot of opportunities for kids to work hard and maybe have a chance to get on the varsity and do something.
Yeah, I mean, the coach is always challenging the kids. He's always looking for the kids to come in and compete. They'll have wrestle-offs before sectionals and whatnot, so everybody has an opportunity to get into the sectionals, and they'll have opportunities to wrestle varsity. So it's a constant thing that goes on, and I like to think that if they at least come in and they try to compete for a spot, that they're getting experience in that way for next year as well. And it looks like we're getting an escape from the Norton wrestler. He was on bottom, and now the Northridge wrestler's got a Norton wrestler in a bulldog position. But I don't know if they didn't. It looks like they didn't award Norton wrestler a 1. He didn't quite get out. I thought he was going to give him the 1. He stood up, and it looked like, but he didn't actually free himself, so he wasn't awarded the 1 point. So we still have 0-0.
So I meant to ask you before too. The dual meet coming up, the coaches states, and then after that, are there individual states championships and so forth? Yeah,
what's going to happen is they'll be going through, of course, the dual meet for this weekend. Then they're going to start doing the sectionals. Basically, that's the South sectional will be the D3 South sectional, and competing with the likes of like Foxborough, Cohasset, Scituate, those D3 teams. And I believe this year it looks like they might have 20 teams involved. And then when you have places who you'll have guys who place in the sectionals, and then they go to the next weekend, and they'll be going for Division III states. And they'll be looking to place in the top 6 in the D3 states, and then finally will be the All-States. And if they compete and place in the All-States in the top 6, that gives them an opportunity to go to the New Englands. So it's quite a process.
And from what you could tell, what you've seen, does Norton have anybody that may be able to get in there?
I do believe so. You got our lightweights are very, very good. We got, I would say, captains Tyler Elliott, Arthur O'Neill looks really good, promising. I think Isaiah will be promising. I'd say we got a good, half dozen kids. I'm sorry, probably like more of a half dozen kids that might make all states. I think we're going to have a good showing, and hopefully we'll show well. But I think coach is looking for probably around anywhere from 6 to 8 kids to make states. And it looks like right now we got a battle back and forth. It's 4-4. We got about 32 seconds left in the second period, and we got Norton on bottom and Northridge on top. And hopefully Norton wrestler can get out of here and at least get the one and escape, which he just got. It looks like. Something just happened. Looks like
Looks like coach is trying to get an explanation about why the referee blew that whistle.
Yeah, I'm a little confused with that as well. I didn't know if there was it might have been a quick start. It looks like it may have been a quick start on the Norton wrestler, so he moved premature of the whistle, and they had to stop it. But now Norton wrestler's up again, trying to escape and get that 1 point. We got the Northridge wrestler really throwing some legs and is trying to pressure his head, and he's looking to put in a power half right now. And Norton wrestler basically wants to build up, and he's going to ask, try not to get into a power half and get turned over. Looks like they stopped it again right now, and we got. Looks like we have 9 seconds left, and they're going to do a restart. And right now, it looks like we got a score 5-4 in favor of Norton with about 9 seconds left in the second period.
So that's two, and it's been a battle. A couple of stops for bloody noses, and it looks like you might have Northridge wrestler might still have a little bit of blood coming from the nostril.
Yeah, he does, and what's going to happen is they only have so much time. So if it continues to happen, in some cases I've seen it, they'll actually put a gauze in his nose and they may tape it up in so it doesn't fall out, constantly fall out. You don't see it a lot, but they will do it on occasion if it's a constant problem. But it looks like they're just trying to. He's been stopped. Looks like Michelle's. Looks like she's got a grasp on things, and I don't think he bled too much. But again, he only has so much time before they make him go out the mat or default. But looks like he's all cleaned up, ready to go. So we're just waiting. Looks like at this point, Northridge wrestler is going to be going down, and Norton will be up. And at this point, we have looks like. They keep changing the score on me here, but it looks like it's 5-4 in favor of Norton. So Norton's going to want to look to either turn him over or at least keep him down to secure his win.
So this type of meet is, like you said, more of getting some work for some kids that maybe haven't had as much experience and so forth, and try and get in there, but it looks like all the wrestlers are here to support everybody.
Well, they are, and right now Coach just took neutral because he feels that his wrestler may do a better job of just getting a takedown or getting ahead 7-5. And I know what Coach does a lot of times. If he feels that he has any opportunities at all to get his JVs in without compromising the team score, he's going to try and do that. And, kudos, because that's how the kids get their experience. And looks like we just had it out of bounds. It was close. Norton was just getting around, and he was switched up by the Northridge wrestler and went out of bounds, and it's still back to neutral, it looks like. So they're starting out both on top, neutral standing.
I have a question for you, Ron. It looked like the Northridge wrestler, I'm sure he's not the first, had a little bit of something to say to the referee. I know in most sports that's taboo. I'm guessing in wrestling you're not supposed to do that either.
No, I mean, if you say a few words, the ref will, generally speaking, he'll kind of let it go. But I mean, if it's a constant, he'll give him a warning, and after a warning, then he'll be awarded a team. He'll be awarded a team point against him, and then if it continues again, it'll be a team point against the team. So right now, it looks like Norton Russell was kind of dropped to his back and he's trying to punch through and work through. Northridge got him in pretty much a headlock position with his arm. He tied up his arm, and Norton Russell's trying to work off his back. We'll see what happens here, but looks like the Northridge wrestler came through with a pin. It's a shame. It was a really close match until then, but that's just a little experience for on the Norton side. Not knowing at what time to take certain risks, and at this time he just took a little bit of a risk, and he got caught by the Northridge wrestler.
Definitely, you could tell that there were two strong boys right there, ready to go at it, and they did. They battled.
It's good though. I mean, although the Norton wrestler he wasn't able to win and got pinned, a lot of good things he can take away from that. There were some good moves he threw in there. Got some experience is another good thing. But for the most part, he did do a lot of good things. So, he'll take this as a learning experience, come back. And, again, that's his very first match as a varsity wrestler. And he's only been in the room for about the last 2 weeks. So he has shown some nice technique. Just happened to get caught and, isn't skilled enough quite yet to understand the technique against him. So, but, right now we have it a 12-6 score, and we have Arthur O'Neill going against Northridge wrestler for heavyweight. I think the expectation is, Arthur's been around the block. He's, one of the top wrestlers for Norton and captain of the team. And he's going to take him down, brought him right down to his back with a bear hug. And then now he's working his patented armbar. He likes to do that.
You also said Arthur is not only one of the top wrestlers on the team, he's one of the top wrestlers in the league, and maybe even more than that.
Yeah, Arthur's, I got to believe he's going to be, he just pinned his wrestler, and I think that was totally expected. And that gives a score 18-6 with some limited wrestlers. I think that might be the end. But Arthur's, a lot of expectations this year. Arthur finished the Marshfield tournament last year as the champion. He ran into a buzzsaw from North Attleboro this year, who is rated #1 in the All-State right now, coming up from 220. And, he's done a real good job. They're expecting him, hopefully, to get into the All-States, place in All-States, and possibility of going to New England this year.
Well, that would be great to see. Well, like you said, with the limited schedule and numbers, scheduled matches and the numbers for Northridge, quickly Norton takes it, was it 18-6? So we're all done. Ron, I wish everybody good luck in the dual meet for the States, Norton, and we'll see what happens there, and maybe we'll do this again soon.
That'd be fantastic. I really enjoyed working with you, Dave, and great opportunity to get some exposure for the Norton Wrestling program, which is, hopefully you've witnessed. It's really a lot of activity. Even when they had a few light wrestlers, they're always, the parents are here to support, and it's great to see that, and we thank you for having the opportunity to have this on film.
I couldn't agree more. Very excited to come. I hope I come many more times. I want to say good night, and a special thanks to NortonMediaCenter.org. I hope everybody goes and watches, especially the middle schoolers who actually will be on TV. And they'll be able to see themselves and their families and stuff that do a great deal of support. You can see it here. I couldn't agree with you more. So I'm going to say goodnight for Jeff Carr, Coach Ron Dunn. I'm David Bowie for NortonMediaCenter.org. Good night, everybody.